I do have a crazy story for you guys, though.
Okay.
So, a couple of weeks ago, my boyfriend was not home, and I was folding laundry. I was sorting through our laundry.
I know
And
exactly where this is going.
as I was sorting through, I find not one,
Yeah.
but 2 pairs of women's underwear that don't belong to me. And for a split second, because if you know my boyfriend, he is like literally the sweetest boy ever. I love him so much. And I would never, ever, ever think that he would do something like this. But you have to understand that in my hand, I'm holding
Yeah.
2 pairs of women's underwear that don't belong to me. And it can't belong to anybody else in this house. And that is until I remember that I just got back from Bee's, and the night before I left, they did laundry and put all of our laundry together, and Bee's husband was like, hey, just pick out whatever's yours. And so
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
Bee is like out at a party at this point. So I'm trying not to be alarming, even though I kind of quickly calm down and figure this must be the case. But I just text her casually, like, hey, are these yours? Because I wanted her to be honest with me. Because I don't know what would happen if the answer was no. And I think that was kind of a long 20 minutes to wait for her to
At that
reply.
point, oh man. So yeah, from my side, it's really funny because you kind of texted me that at the exact same time that week. I had been doing laundry quite a bit because I was struggling, and I literally had said out loud to myself, Mr. B was gone that week, and I had said out loud to myself, man, where has all my underwear gone? Man, where is it?
Turns out B stole it.
Yeah, turns out Strawbz stole it, and it was. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you picked it
Strawbz
out.
stole it, yeah.
You picked it out on accident because I was like, well, if sorted it, whatever, that's fine. Oh, oops, I doxed him. But it really cracked me up that you sent that because I was like, oh yeah, that's mine, panty snatcher. You fucking panty snatcher.
Well, I mean, I can think of no better
You freak
souvenir.
thief in the night.
Strawbz is the pantsuit hunter.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Get your hands off my silky drawers.
This is a good time to announce that we are actually hosting an auction on Etsy. If you would like.
Wow. On Etsy. All right. I don't know what they get up to on Etsy these days.
eBay. Yeah.
Like-
But
yeah, my Etsy shop has gone really wild.
Yeah. So we can add a couple of new listings on Etsy.
It is such a crazy power play to send somebody a picture of underwear with the question, are these yours? It's so crazy.
At this point, I think people are, I mean, Ian and Kyle have definitely learned that I'm a crazy person.
For sure. I think everybody
so-
who's listened knows
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Which is
shed
good.
literal tears.
I don't think anybody should feel safe around me.
I certainly don't.
Welcome to the Bee and the Berry,
I'm B.
and I'm
I'm-
Strawberry.
And I'm Kyle.
Kyle? Jumping the gun? Kyle?
It's me. Yes. Yes.
He's just so
Yes.
excited.
I
You can
mean-
fix that in post.
Yeah, that's right. We've got the power of editing.
Well, I mean, Kyle would take precedent because,
true.
for all intents and purposes, Kyle is actually our network president when we got signed on to the
This is our
KNGI
boss.
network
Yeah,
last
this is
year.
our boss in a way.
Okay. I'm just here. I'm just here. I mean, hello.
This is our president.
Yeah, our network president. So if you're listening, yes, Kyle is the creator, founder of the KNGI network, which is an online radio station dedicated to music from video games and other shows related to games and entertainment. You should go and listen to the other wonderful shows that are hosted on the platform. But Kyle, you have hosted the KNGI network for how long now? For a long time, like 20 years?
Well, technically, if you want to go all the way back to the beginning of when I started doing this online radio podcasting sort of deal, it's going back to 2003. So
Wow, that's the year my youngest brother was born. That's crazy. And he's 21 now, I guess. 22.
Yeah, is that how old it is? 22?
I don't know. I'm really bad at math.
It's like 23, I think, at this point almost.
Okay,
Yeah.
I believe
We're
that.
actually coming up to the anniversary of
Ooh.
KNGI. So yeah, beware the Ides of March and the anniversary of KNGI, because they line up. Scary.
Terrifying.
I know.
Wow.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm here. We're gonna talk about a blue rat.
Yes,
He's very blue,
he is
Yeah.
very blue.
and that's all he is.
Actually, and that's a great. Maybe we should start with the great debate. What color blue is that rat? Is that good? Is that
Color
good
blue
content?
is that rat?
Have you not seen those debates? They're like cyan and royal. Have you not
I've
seen?
seen-
multiple. He's a different color
What's the
depending
true
on
color?
It depends on what region of the world you're in.
I feel like these are the real questions that you used to get on Bumblekast. Anyway, they really wanted you to split those hairs.
They really are. They really are. That is, yeah.
I was literally gonna say I actually saw it was a video that was like Sonic is not actually blue.
Oh my god!
Because the
mean-
argument is that blue pigment, something that makes a natural living organism blue, is incredibly rare, and that
Yes.
most likely Sonic has an absence of a certain pigment, and so instead the light reflects off of his quills as blue, but his
What?
quills are not actually blue. Supposedly, that's the argument.
So they were getting scientific about it. They weren't.
Yes, they were
being-
getting
They weren't being pedantic about differences of Sonic's
No.
coloring in different regions of the world,
yeah.
depending on markets and marketing and blah 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 blah.
I mean, I don't know if they were going into hex codes, but
That
Well,
is
yeah.
exactly how my hair also works.
mhm.
Is there
Your
is an
hair-
absence of pigment. It's actually
Yeah.
incandescent, prismatic color, but everybody's just tricking themselves constantly into thinking that it's blue.
Yeah.
Can I just say that Bee's bathtub, the first time I went into her
Stop
bathtub,
talking about my most intimate parts of my life today, Strawbz.
no.
She said, "That's so funny."
Why
Yeah,
does your bathtub look like a Sonic crime scene?
It does. look like
Yes!
I killed that. You know who murdered Sonic the Hedgehog? Me. I did in my bathtub.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Finally, I'm glad
Yeah.
someone finally did it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, to even it out, I will say that at Sonic Expo, Mr. B said that he could tell who last used the shower because of what color it would be. Whether it
Can't
was
commit any
blue
crimes
or
'cause
red.
our DNA, we're leaving traces everywhere, and that's why we
Everywhere.
solve crimes instead of commit them.
Everywhere.
Anyway, back on the rails.
The rat.
Rails? What rails?
the truth is, whenever Kyle records with Ian for the Bumblekast, he is just like, he doesn't even listen to Ian. He's just like reading the question and then just looks in the chat and talks in the chat before moving on to the next one.
How dare you?
Yeah, this is a real expose for everybody but Strawbz today. Jeez.
How dare you say things that are true?
You know me. I always have to speak the truth.
Okay.
Between the two of us, she's the ball buster, obviously.
She is. Strawbz is ready to reveal all of our deepest, darkest
She's
secrets.
here to pull the curtain back on anything and everything.
Wow. I
Ain't
didn't know
nothing
that.
sacred
I didn't
to
know.
her.
I didn't know I was
Yeah.
coming on this show to get
For some gotcha journalism.
gotcha
Yep.
questions.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Sorry.
My only redeeming quality is my honesty.
What?
Good. Having known you for a while. I'd
That's
say
true. I
yes.
guess you guys have been known each other now. Strawbz, you've been a mod for what, 2 years now? We've said that before, but Strawbz is a mod for the Bumblekast, one of the many
Yes.
projects hosted by KNGI. 2 years?
Has it been 2 years?
I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Good. You were around a little bit longer than that, though. But
A year
yeah.
and a
Right.
year and a half I've been a mod, but I've been in the server for like, this is actually today, I think, is like the 2-year anniversary of joining the server. Because I became a mod in November of 24.
I feel
Yeah.
like I've known you a lot longer than that for some reason.
Because I'm obnoxious.
Oh, well, so am I. So it's fine.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that like, you kind of can't get rid of me because I am
No,
too obnoxious and too charming.
I wouldn't want to get rid of you. So
Yeah.
there's that.
You see, guys, this is called job security. The job that I get paid $0 for.
I know, I was going to say, and thank God you will have all
It's
those
okay.
benefits
How could,
for the rest of your life.
I don't know. I can't pay you. If you're trying to get me to pay you, I can't. I'm sorry.
That's actually,
mean-
this is a hold 'em up. We're here to demand benefits and
You're here
rights
to
for
demand-
Strawbz.
You want. Well, I'm sorry.
union
I can't
now.
do that. I literally can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask Kyle, you know, for our listeners where this may be the first time where they can just hear you talk about your work, especially outside of the Bumblekast, where I would say a lot of people know you from. You know, I would love to hear you kind of talk about how you got into like online radio hosting, especially because, you know, when you think about how radio exists like today in the modern age, you know, I just want to hear like what your journey is, like what got you into it and what keeps you going.
Well, let's see. I mean, I think we can agree that these days, radio kind of sucks.
Right.
Like the standard regular terrestrial radio, it's not in a great spot. It hasn't been for a very long time, but that was sort of my initial interest was, you know, I always like listening to the radio and I liked the personalities on the radio at the time when I was a kid and stuff like that. So I was always kind of interested in that as sort of a potential path in my life or something to look into, figure out. And then I was introduced to the idea of video game music radio through a college show at WMRE in Lewiston, Maine, and they were streaming online, and they had a show on there called Super Radio X, which is a show hosted by Nick Burgess, who I am still friends with to this day, and his wife, Sarah, and a rotating cast of characters.
Cute.
And they talked about video games and video game music, and they played a bunch of video game music, mostly remixes from like Overclocked Remix and the early video game music places. So it was like OCR.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know OCR, you should definitely check them out, Overclocked Remix. They did a really fantastic panel at MagFest in 2025 that I got to see.
They do a great panel every year, not just the
Yeah.
one that I'm on, which was
Well, that's the one that I know
2025
for.
one. Yeah. They do a pretty great panel every year, and they're also still friends of mine to this day.
Aw.
And that was sort of my beginnings of getting this idea of that I could, first of all, stream on the internet
Mhm.
and then play video game music as part of that. And that was sort of like what kind of gave me the desire to sort of look into it and figure out how to do it myself. And I had a lot of help from a very cool guy named Species, who was also a fan of Super Radio X, and he helped me out with learning how to basically do online streaming radio stuff. So I started my own show, and that was Nitro Game Injection back in March 2003. And here
Wow.
I am still doing it, basically.
Hey.
It's been a little while. NGI's been on break for a while, but it'll be coming back here, I hope, soon. If not already back by the time you hear this. So we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of how this whole thing got started.
And the infrastructure for the website, I mean,
That's more recent. That took a while for me
Yeah.
to figure out how to build up. And once I understood a bit more, and once I was no longer a junior in high school, because that's when
Mhm.
that's how old I was when I started this whole thing. Was once I was able to learn how more things work, and obviously radio streaming quality and recording quality, and thankfully has improved as audio hardware's gotten cheaper and better.
Well, I think the other thing too is I feel like a lot of people nowadays do not stray outside of the big mega corporation social media websites. And so I think it is really cool to see, KNGI like exist as its own website, if that makes sense,
That's always been the idea, that it will hopefully outlast the bigger platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it doesn't outlast them, at least it provides a consistent experience that the larger platforms can lack or can
Yeah.
easily get rid of, like the process of enshittification that every online platform goes through
Mm-hmm.
when they're made for profit.
Yeah.
This is not a for-profit venture for me
No.
in the slightest. But I don't want to compromise that. So what you're basically seeing now is kind of what I ultimately want it to be. And
That's great.
I mean, I would love to have more eyes and ears on everything, but
Right.
other than that, really, I don't want to change anything necessarily. I don't want to make it any. I don't want to make it a for-profit thing. This is a labor of love for me more than anything. It's
Right.
It's what I like to do. It's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And it's like culture. I mean,
Right.
like, I know this is like tangentially related, but I think about when people are like, oh, like I miss like MySpace in the sense of like being able to have like a page that you can customize. And nowadays when people get things started, it's like they are beholden to the layout, the construction of a social media site that is very rigid.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's cool. Well, I will say, because I do have to shout this out, because I actually love this about the website. If you go to kngi.org/about and you read the FAQ, there's the question. Questions 3 and 4 are: what is a podcast, and do I need an iPod to listen?
Well, those are old holdovers from back when people were like, "What the heck is a podcast?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never taken those down because I'm just like, well, why would I? They're still relevant information if somebody's confused.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For anyone under the age of like 18 listening, iPods existed before iPhones.
Yeah. iPods were MP3 players, and that's all they did. They played MP3s.
Yeah.
Except later on when you got the iPod Touch, which was basically an iPhone without the phone ability.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just needed
kind
to
of
shout
miss
that out.
Having an iPod. I've seen a lot of people returning to iPods actually and MP3 players these days because Spotify is such a corrupt thing, you know?
Yeah.
That's like easier
Yeah.
and better and nicer to own their music, and also we're like in such a nostalgia bait time. I've been like longing for an iPod these days, you know?
It's funny. I've never stopped downloading music, like
Wow.
owning my
Good for
music.
you.
I've never stopped that because,
Wow.
well, part of it's because I have KNGI and I want to have a good source of music. And the only way to have that for me consistently is having my own.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to be reliant on other platforms. That's just me, though. I know a lot of people like streaming stuff, and I mean,
Yeah. But a lot of people too, like they're very, very also entering this era of like owning your media is very important because eventually it's all going to disappear off of the internet too. Like physical and hard media is very important as well, which I do agree with.
I think that's becoming wider.
Yeah.
Wider realized by more mainstream folks is like a lot of this stuff is kind of ephemeral. It's not permanent. It can go away at any time.
Yep. Big streamers don't care if it disappears into the pixels.
And you're paying for it.
Yep.
You're paying perpetually for it.
Yep.
Through subscriptions. So and it's like, yeah, it's nice for the convenience and the ease of use, but at some point you kind of realize like, wow, everything, like the things I loved are disappearing, or things I no longer have access to. It's like, well, what the heck?
What was the point?
What am I paying for then?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
I know a lot of artists are, especially like new independent artists. Some of them are becoming Bandcamp exclusive. For anybody listening, so the shtick with Bandcamp is that you can go and purchase the MP3s from artists. Or if it's not Bandcamp exclusive, they do have a Bandcamp page for people to buy the music from, in addition to traditional streaming, because it is kind of that dichotomy of, you know, wanting to make money from the art that you make, but also like the other thing with streaming is that it does provide a lot of exposure. And a lot of people have bought into that convenience. So, but I do agree, like, with, like, you know, wanting, like, an MP3. Like, I do miss the days of things being, like, customizable, you know? That's why I have, like, my big chunky-ass phone case with all the charms on it. Because, like, you know, things used to be so personalized. And now we live in, you know, select the 5 government-sponsored colors. You know?
Yeah, in essence, yeah. There's a bit of a return, though. We're getting things like Neo cities, like, and for all of you out there who are under the age of 20-something, GeoCities back in the day was a place where you made your own website fully customizable and from the ground up, and you could have anything you wanted on it. You could host anything you want. And now we've seen the rise of NeoCities, which is basically the same thing.
Big shout out to GeoCities, and I think the remnants of that is like Tumblr, because you can customize your blog page. It's becoming less and less used, unfortunately, because like they kind of have leaned into the whole like simplified blog experience. But like I feel like Tumblr is one of the last social media platforms where you could customize a page. Yeah, to some degree.
Yeah, it's limited now, but limited. It's definitely at least a bit more customizable. But it's interesting how kind of sanitized the majority of large platforms on the internet have become. I understand why, to a degree, but I do miss that.
Well, when you think about where you've started to how things have drastically changed over the 20-something years. I know you touched on this a little bit, but like what kind of keeps you going even as the landscape seems to be shifting away from this? And what would you say to anyone who hasn't bought into the idea of radio or listening to platforms that are independent of the big streamers?
I'd say that what keeps me going is just kind of the people, the community. We've definitely built an amazing community with the Bumblekast specifically. We have a lot of great people who are helping us out, and they're supporting us, and they're listening to the show still, despite the massive changes of, unfortunately, from last year.
I do want to shout out the people in the Bumblekast server that have stuck around. You guys know who you are. I give you guys guff a lot, but like truly, we are so appreciative of you guys.
Yes. And then the KNGI community, there's a little bit, it's not a hugely active community. There's a few folks here and there. There's some wonderful folks who host shows on the KNGI network, of course. And, it's just that sort of thing. Like I've made a lot of great friends for life from doing this. And it's been an honor and a pleasure. And that's what's kind of kept me going throughout it. I would say that there's an aspect of KNGI that I think has been sort of lessened over time thanks to algorithm driven music discovery and stuff like that. It's like KNGI is fully human curated. It's a fully human curated experience. Like when you listen to my show, NGI, and you listen to the 24/7 live stream, it's all been curated by me. It's a bit of a different, I feel like it's a different experience than what you get listening through just a streaming platform that just feeds you whatever it thinks you want to hear, which is not necessarily, I won't necessarily say that's a bad thing, but I feel like having that human element is cool. It's an interesting way to experience something in a way that you may not have. I mean, some people may not have ever experienced it that way now that I think about it, because they would have grown up with streaming platforms that have always sort of just fed them what it thinks they want to hear.
Well, the other thing too, I feel like with algorithms, they will kind of push, it's like, oh, this is what everybody else is starting to listen to right now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but
Right.
Then it does become like, oh, like there is the song, the one song or the two songs that people are listening to.
A homogeny. Yeah.
That is a bit of that has always sort of existed with the like mainstream terrestrial radio, with like the top hits and the top 40 and the
payola.
Yeah, and things like that. I feel like that's always existed, but there was also like I remember old school radio. Like for me, old school would be like the 90s and early 2000s. It felt like there was a little bit more of a human element to it. In the 90s was like when things were starting to become consolidated and commodified more in radio. You had stuff like Clear Channel back in the day that was like owned vast swaths of radio stations across the U.S. It was less so than nowadays. There were certainly problems back then too when it comes to radio, but I feel like just that sort of, there were still people behind the scenes running those things, and there were people on the air hosting those things. Now you listen to terrestrial radio and you can't even be entirely sure the person you're listening to actually exists.
Yeah.
That's so tough to think about.
Which is so weird.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's an interesting time, and it's definitely a little worrisome, but
yeah,
that's not the kind of experience I've ever wanted to have, and that's not the kind of experience I want anyone else to have when they listen to us. So that's why things are the way they are. And we're small. We're very small. We're definitely not punching above our weight class here in terms of, folks who are listening, but I'm glad that the folks who have discovered us and who stick around continue to do so.
Yeah, I definitely recommend to our listeners, especially if radio is something that you've only heard people talk about and never engaged in, you should go
Right.
to kngi.org and you should take a listen, because I think I know that I've definitely discovered some cool tracks because of it. I think specifically to have a space that honors like gaming music, the wide variety of music, whether it be orchestral or electronic, these are the little pockets of culture that we need to, I think, actively engage in and support in order to keep them enduring. I tip my hat to you, Kyle, because I know that you have busted your ass off like maintaining the network, and I truly.
Thank you. I just like to do it. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still here, because I like to do it. I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy listening to what I've done. Basically, like, honestly, when I drive around and I need music in the car, I turn on my own station. Maybe that's kind of dumb.
No.
maybe that's kind of being a bit up my own ass a bit. But at the same time, it's like, well, first of all, I do pay for this. I should probably use it. And also I obviously curated.
Yeah, you're curating
99.9% of
to a T
the music on it. It's like
your taste.
It's like, well, I know what I like, and that's where I'll find what I like.
Yep.
So it usually just go around, listen to my own thing. And if I'm not listening to that, I'm at least tuning into other folks and other stations that also exist out there, like our good friends over at Radio Sega, who are not affiliated with Sega officially, by the way. They're an independent station. They just have Sega in the name.
Yeah.
But Radio Sega, those guys, they do an excellent job of specifically focusing on Sega music, and they have a great community and a lot of shows too. There's plenty of other video game music centric streaming radio stations and podcasts out there, and I honestly I think you should listen to and support as many of them as you can, and as many of them as you enjoy. You don't have to listen to mine.
first.
You don't have to listen to mine, but at least if you're listening to one of those, that's wonderful.
Well, I'm gonna say listen to Kyle's.
Okay.
Because I also I think it's okay for you to be proud of your own work, because again, you've busted your ass putting this together. So I think it's okay that you listen to your own music, or your own curation, I should say.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should talk about the Bumblekast.
Oh, do we have to?
No, we don't.
Yeah,
but I think we should.
Guys, the truth is Kyle hates Ian.
That's true. That's true.
Finally, we should get into the real tea.
Yeah.
I'm very
Spill the tea.
upset. I'm very upset that I am known mostly as Kyle Bumblekast. Please note.
Damn.
Please note, I am not upset by that.
Right the wrong. Tell
that's
them
a
what
lie.
you want to be known as.
That's a lie. That's a lie. You can please call me Kyle Bumblekast. I don't mind. I've been called a lot worse. Kyle Bumblekast is perfectly acceptable.
Oh my gosh. That's really
no.
funny.
I'm fine with that. Honestly, Kyle Bumblekast. It's hilarious. I appreciate it. Actually, it's great.
Well, now that we've talked about the Bumblekast, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yep.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Oh man, I don't know. When did you meet Ian, and why did you start that, and what was the joy of that, and to also talk about the hardships of that, because you guys have recently gone through a big struggle, and also even just deciding to do that and put yourself on a big stage with somebody who works officially with Sega is very brave, and I'm sure has been an intense experience at times. I don't know. Yeah, speak your truth. Talk diplomatically. Talk freely. Go through what you want to go through. This is your stage. This is your moment. Have it.
Talk your shit.
Talk your shit.
It's been almost 11 years and we're still doing it, so clearly Ian and I do not hate each other that much.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Ian, if you're no, Ian's not listening. Ian's not listening. Cut that out.
Ian, listen to things. I'm scared. That'd be scary.
Yeah, that would be scary. I don't
Get
need
back
that
to
man
work.
looking.
Kids go to bed. Yeah.
Get back
Kids,
to
if you're
work.
listening, let's go to bed.
Go back to work, Ian. If you're listening to this, go back to work now. Mush.
How did
we meet? How did we meet?
What's
Jeez,
the
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if I knew Ian before or after NGI. Before or after I started my show. I knew Lee before. I knew
really?
Aaliyah before.
Wow,
Yes,
that's
Aaliyah.
wild.
I met Aaliyah on the Overclocked Remix forums.
Oh my gosh.
Now, kids, if you don't know what forums
Yeah,
are,
wow.
the forums are things where you post things and then people can respond to them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can post responses to other people's things.
It was
It's
kind of like
amazing.
old Reddit.
It pretty much is. Yeah, Reddit's basically a forum.
Yes.
And if you don't know who Aaliyah is, Aaliyah Baker
Yes.
is an iconic woman who happens to be Ian Flynn's wife. Wife.
Yes. No, Ian is Aaliyah's husband as far as I'm concerned.
And that's on period.
Yeah. So I knew Aaliyah first. I met her before.
Wow.
I want to say before doing any of this stuff. And it was through her that I was introduced to Ian, who at the time was still trying to break into Sonic Comics.
Aw.
He hadn't even started working on the Blue Hedgehog officially. He was still a fan. And Aaliyah was also heavily involved in the Sonic fan community at that time, very early on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I met Ian. And so from there, he and I talked a bit. We were on friendly terms, but we didn't chat necessarily too much.
Yeah.
Just shooting the breeze. I mostly talked to Aaliyah a lot. Not Ian so much at the time. But I went to go visit them in person in 2015. And that was sort of where the idea of the Bumblekast began. Was Ian asked me if I was interested in starting a podcast.
Wow.
And I said,
so it was him.
Yes. You're asking me if I want to do a podcast with you? I'm like, bruh. Yes. Obviously, the answer is going to be yes. So we were like, all right, let's do this. And so we kind of sat down, hashed out some of the details. The name was one of the first things, actually, because he's the Bumble King. He has Bumble King Comics. That's his brand. So Ian has done a lot of Q&A about Sonic. Like on his forums, the Bumble King forums back in the day were a big deal. And they had a really big community going on there.
Hmm.
And Ian did a lot of Q&A on the forums and had actually recorded some videos on YouTube answering various Q&A. But he wanted not the Q&A to be the focus. He wanted it to be kind of a bonus. But ultimately, we've figured out that, the Q&A is kind of the driver of the show.
Yeah.
More than anything. So we kind of decided, okay, I guess we'll shift to focusing on that side of it. And it worked out really well. And we were too successful. At some point we had gotten a bit too successful.
Yep.
So that's unfortunately why we had to pull back about a year ago. And no more Sonic questions, unfortunately. But,
I mean, your guys' content and community is still thriving, so I think it speaks to the staying power of both of you guys as hosts and the interesting things that you have to say, whether it be about Sonic or not. I mean, both of you are still wealths of knowledge about games and writing and music and hosting. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a tough and interesting transition to watch, but also very cool, I think.
Yeah.
I have to give credit to the folks who stuck around and continue to send in questions and just ask us questions about things. And at this point, the questions have gotten a lot more creative and interesting. Honestly, like, yeah, talking about Sonic is fun. I enjoy Sonic. I've been a Sonic fan since like 1992. And I never stopped being a Sonic fan. I've always enjoyed Sonic. I'm not a super hardcore guy, but I have my fair share of love for the Blue Hog.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that hog.
But I'm glad we're not talking about him so much anymore. Honestly.
Yeah.
That's fine. This is a safe space.
It's great. Sonic is great. Sonic is good. Sonic is fun. But it's also like, wow, there are other things in life.
There are. Especially when you talking about that Blue Hog really is like, you guys speaking on it means, even if you don't mean it, people place so much meaning on you and your thoughts that it's like, oh, suddenly there is this like lack of joy or freedom that comes with speaking about it, and that's not fun. It's true.
Yeah.
We had a ton of fun on the show with Sonic stuff, and there were a lot of like really creative ideas that people came up with. I honestly, one of the things I miss the most is Starline Isekai.
I was literally going to say Isekai. Oh my
god. The
God.
Starline Isekai adventures were so much fun.
Ugh.
I loved those. There were so many different creative ideas and things that the community came up with. Like the Adventures of Starline post-death is
that's
funny. One of the big things I miss.
Right.
And and also like Sonic Boom episode concepts were always a gold mine of creativity from the community, and I do miss those too.
And I know how much you miss the shipping questions.
I mean, I don't mind, but I mean, I'm sure Ian is glad that we don't really have to. We don't really have those so much anymore, but it is very fun. And but the things that people have come up with since then, like we have an ongoing text adventure. Basically, we have a couple of those actually. We have an ongoing text adventure and an ongoing like sort of D&D scenario going on.
That's very sick.
And that's people who have kept those going, and it's been over a year basically, and it's like, well, it's a creative writing exercise for the people sending in the questions, and it's also a creative exercise for me and Ian to figure out how we're going to answer this.
Well, and also the Dragoon questions, because if for our listeners, Ian has Dragoon, that is volume 1 is out now. You should go and like buy it and read it because it's really, really good. But he is taking questions on Dragoon.
Yeah,
and it's really fun, and I'm really happy for him.
Ian is like, we're willing to talk about literally practically anything. Like, we will talk about whatever you want to talk about as long as it doesn't involve a blue hedgehog.
Yeah,
that's unfortunately just for multiple reasons, some of which I'm not at liberty to necessarily get into. I wish things could be different. Ultimately, it has kind of worked out overall. I think we've managed to pivot gracefully, but there were a lot of people who were listening to the Bumblekast pretty much exclusively for Sonic content. And I understand that. I knew they were there for that. So, and unfortunately, taking that out undercut a lot of folks' interest in the show, and That's all right.
You persevere anyway, and you put up with my random questions.
You definitely put her on. Of course. Of course we put up with your questions, Strawb.
Yeah. No, B doesn't know what I asked on the live.
What'd you ask on the live?
What was it? I asked Ian, hey, so like, what's the most embarrassing thing you've done to impress somebody?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He said something specific, but I think we joked like, what, his whole career?
It was really tame. He just said like, oh, like I bought a bunch of balloons for a girl.
Oh, yeah. And apparently you had brought up traumatic memories for him as a result. And I was like, I guess doing radio streaming and podcasting was mine, because I'm like, well, what? I don't know. Did I impress anybody? I don't know if I impressed anybody necessarily.
Did you pull? Did you have game?
Well, it's funny because doing NGI is not how I met my wife, but I mean, she's still here, so I knew her a little bit, slightly beforehand, but she stuck around, so I don't know, maybe.
Shout out Jen. Jen, you're my girl.
She's not here.
I don't care.
Now, so.
It's for the listeners. Shout out Jen. You're my girl. Shorty, hit me up.
I thought you said shut up, Jen. I'm like, no.
No. Shout out
right
Jen.
There we go. Yes.
Well, I guess specifically on the Blue Rat, since it's been a minute since you've really talked about the Blue Rat on a recording, what have you enjoyed so far from Sonic over the past year?
The past year?
Curious. Yeah. Like what whether it be Sonato Generations or I don't remember I guess that came out like right before, so you could get those questions. Yeah. So I guess it would be Crossworlds.
Crossworlds is the one thing. Honestly, I've enjoyed the break. in a lot of ways. I've played a little bit of Crossworlds and I definitely enjoyed it. I always loved the Sonic racing games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I even loved like Sonic R and going back to even Sonic Drift on the Game Gear. It was like,
Well, Kyle, you are a car guy. You are a racing guy.
I'm a racing game. I'm a racing game fan. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm down. And I definitely enjoyed Crossworlds. It has some excellent like music, and just the gameplay and the game design is super fun. And so I've definitely enjoyed that. And I'm glad to see IDW characters in an official Sonic Team developed game that has been amazing with Tangle and Whisper. I know Ian is like over the moon excited that they've gotten in, and that they're officially like, recognized in a mainstream mainline game that's developed by Sonic Team specifically. That's huge. Now we just have to get them in one of the platforming games. And then we'll be on to something. We'll be going places. That's the next step. So the racing spinoff, that's great, but let's get them in something more story driven. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Honestly, big shout out to Tangle and Whisper and to everyone who has had a hand in developing those characters. And even like, the other one being Chaotix's Case Files, which feels very relevant considering we are talking about radio and podcasting, even though they are very narrative.
Yes. I know that had been in development for a very long time and was very exciting when that finally started.
Because I feel like it's not very common to have radio, like audio dramas like this, coming out. Like I feel like it's a really fun project, and I have enjoyed what I have listened to so far.
Yeah, I am very impressed with the the team behind Sonic here in the West, where they've done things like Tails Tube and the Chaotix Case Files, and going back up a couple years with Murder of Sonic.
Yes.
And all that stuff. They really are just doing some really cool things that, well, first of all, to kind of further the brand, and also just build on like the world, and do some more story-driven things that I know people have like wanted to see. And that's been really nice to see them sort of embrace that and go on to doing things that are a little bit off the beaten path when it comes to the Blue Hedgehog.
I have loved the narrative approach that, the care to the narrative that has, existed, but I think being developed on seriously now. It was Frontiers that got me into Sonic properly. Well, Frontiers in the movies. Not that I was exposed to Sonic as a child through Sonic X, but I would have never considered myself a quote-unquote Sonic fan, But I really, really did love what Ian did in Frontiers. It was I felt like also the gameplay was just accessible for me, and I was like still like figuring out how to play games properly. But yeah. Because fun fact, I was not good at video games as a child, but okay. I really, really did love the care to the story in Frontiers, and I'm very excited to see, what the team does next, because I think with everything, with all these little dominoes that they have set up through these different projects, I think it's going to be something really cool. The blue rats.
There's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. I know that. So I'm sure there's a lot of, there's a bit of frustration and, clashing ideals and stuff of where to go and what to do. Just based on the fact that it's, a big company working on this, and there's so many different people involved and so many moving parts. But I am hopeful for the future, and I do think that they're doing a good job now of, filling in the gaps. I think that's really part of it too, is like, you can't always have big things going on. And I know there was that like 5-year drought between Forces and Frontiers really felt like a slog, I know, for a lot of fans.
Well, also just like not everything can be like a Barbenheimer, not everything can be like an, Avengers. Like, I use those just kind of like in the sense of like something that is like a mega hit that is raking in millions and millions.
Sure. I
am glad that they have these smaller projects, because I think the idea of everything needing to be like a knockout like success you're going to fail.
That's unsustainable. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's unsustainable, and I think that like the smaller projects are the things that keep your core audience interested.
Exactly.
And devoted. And it shows like, oh, like you will make something that's a little bit niche, but actually like I really, really enjoy that.
Right. The thing is that stuff like that doesn't necessarily translate to direct like sales. You can't like say, oh, we sold this much of this thing. You can't say like, oh, we sold this much Chaotix Case Files. It's not. It's free. It's like you're not really making money on that. I mean,
but they are.
You might be making ad revenue, yes, but other than that,
they have merch for Case Files.
You can point at views and merch, yeah.
Yeah, they like. Every week they're putting out a new shirt for Case Files, which I think is really funny.
Well, yeah, and that's cool, but it's not like, directly, you're not selling episodes of Case Files. Like they put out Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog for free, and I can tell you that game was likely not cheap to make. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort and probably a lot of money.
Yeah, it's an investment. I mean, they got to pay the people who work behind it, even if they're making it like publicly available and quote unquote free.
Right. It's advertising for the brand, basically, is what it ultimately is. But it also shows that there's a lot more care given to the franchise than you might think. It's not just like an ad for, oh, go buy the new Sonic game. Here's something for you to enjoy that's Sonic related.
And we hope you'll remember it when our game does come out.
Yes. And it kind of promotes folks to go check out more Sonic stuff. And also to talk about Sonic, basically. That's not like a direct one-to-one translation of like product to sales, but it's shows that there's an interest in keeping the brand relevant and a lot of love from the people behind the scenes who want the brand to succeed, who want Sonic to be successful, who enjoy Sonic stuff, and who want to create in that world and stuff like that. So
this is the riveting blue rat conversation that our listeners came for. The hot takes business.
Good.
Look, I think people should be interested.
Listen to us glaze Sonic the Hedgehog and Sega on this show. Yes.
Yeah.
I have my qualms, my personal issues with Sonic and with Sega and just in general, but I'd like to have a positive outlook on things, and I think that there's a lot of folks out there who can talk about what they hate about Sonic. That's fine.
It's fun to talk about like who your favorite guy is and all the ships and stuff, but it's also important to like know as much as you can about how the sausage gets made so that you're a more informed person when you're shitting on things online.
Exactly.
So that you choose not to.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna, and also I agree. I mean, I have my critiques, of course, but like, your critiques are going to be effective when you understand the process. And also, yes, like big company, but I can tell you that from what I know, especially of a project like Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff, it takes a lot of advocacy and groundwork in order to convince your company to give you money to start a project like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And to convince people, to convince your company, hey, please give me money for my idea. Like they want to, it's really hard to get money to execute a project, especially on a professional level like this, because they are going to ask you what's in it for us.
Exactly.
Like what's the return on investment for us? And to say I want to make a game and to make it free, that's a lot. Like I really do like tip my hat to Katie for getting that off the ground, because I can only imagine just how hard it is to do that. And I say that to people just so that way they can have a little bit of perspective on like, the not so fun part of being within a creative industry, which is rallying and organizing resources and materials before you can get to the fun stuff.
The money side, that's hard. That's very difficult. Very difficult to try and navigate that. The way they've done it with Sonic, I think, has been quite solid in recent times. I know that a lot of these projects have taken a very long time to get off the ground, though.
I love the music for Case Files. Like, man, they really pulling out the stops with that, with a 8-bit big band.
Yep.
Like, I think it's really cool to see people that are established within spaces outside of gaming engage in gaming.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, but also, I mean, there's a lot of like, now gaming has kind of become ubiquitous,
Yeah.
And a lot of folks who were initially embedded with just following gaming have become like a lot more like prolific and done a lot more professional things too. So it's gone kind of both ways.
Yeah.
You got to remember that the largest, most profitable entertainment products in the last like 20 years have all been video games.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. Like there's nothing that has made nearly as much money as like Grand Theft Auto, for example. Like nothing.
This just turned into us yapping, but I think that's okay.
That's fine.
Well, that was always destined to happen.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
That was foretold.
That's what we're here to. That's what we're here to do, right? It's a podcast.
Yeah.
That's what you do on
It
a
is a
podcast.
podcast.
Not pretend the bee and the berry is not just yapping.
Yeah. We're just
Talking about
two
games.
girls.
We
talking
know
about,
what we are. Yeah.
yeah.
Talking about.
We're just
talking
two
about
girls with a
Sonic.
mic.
That's right.
Yep. Well, 2 mics, I think.
Yes.
I don't know. Unless you guys are somehow sharing one. I don't know. I don't know what you guys are getting up to over there.
Sometimes you let Strawbz in your house and you share one mic and then she walks away with 3 pairs of your underwear.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's
And from then on, it's
true.
2 mics.
And who knows? It could happen to you.
It could happen to you.
It could.
Do not
It
let this
could.
woman into your house. If you see her, do
If you
not let her into
value,
your
if you
house.
value your underwear, do not let
Yeah.
Strawb into your home.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll be auctioning these pairs off on,
my God.
fundraiser.
Such a freak.
Do you
Over
want
on
the ex-
Etsy.
Yeah.
Etsy. Yeah,
See?
randomly.
Are we allowed to talk about that on this show? I don't know. I don't know what
It's
you
our
guys get
show.
up
We
to
can do what we
sometimes.
want to.
Okay, good. Okay. I don't know what kind of restrictions you're under on the network you're
I
on
mean,
or
you're the
anything like
president.
that.
You tell us. Yes.
I okay. Oh,
Censored. Police state.
Yeah.
Kyle runs a police state.
I'm just here. You guys
Yeah.
can talk about whatever you want. I'm just here.
Hold on. Give me 1 second because there's a police
They're
car.
coming to get you for being a freak.
They've come
Yeah,
they've
they're
come to
gonna
take
put
you
you up for
away for
theft.
stealing Bee's underwear.
Yeah, for being a
Yeah.
thief. You freak.
Yeah. I didn't even
Fancy
know. I didn't even know. Fuck, what was I gonna say now? You made me lose my train of
Sorry.
thought. No. I do remember what I was gonna say now. I do think that the lack of sustainability from what has been promised with the big media titans, I think now more than ever, like, I would encourage people to really look at independent projects and learn to support them in whatever way you can.
Mm-hmm.
When we think about, like, yeah, like radio and streaming, like, maybe you do want to listen to the KNGI network. Maybe you do want to support, like, independent animation, like with Glitch Studios, for example, or Pretty Please I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl. You know, but, like, there's just like again, even in, like, the tough times, like, the people still yearn for stories. I actually think that even as things are becoming more mechanical, more automated, people yearn for, you know, humanity. But I think that it just means that you're going to have to do a little bit of legwork to find the things that bring you joy, and support them, so that way people can keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And the thing with, like, music nowadays, especially, like, we're seeing a lot of just consolidation in the music space, and of course a lot of AI takeover.
Yeah.
Basically, it's been a real big issue, and I think at this point more than ever, it's worth your time and money to support independent artists who are real people.
Yeah,
and that's
it's
hard to
becoming
do
really
because
hard to
it's
discern.
It's really hard to tell. Yeah, you kind of have to look at somebody's track record and sort of know, and that's one of the things that I'm concerned about. Is I really don't want to be, like, promoting AI artists. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what I want to be doing on my show, and that's been kind of a concern of looking like, okay, can I tell if this is even AI generated?
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, it's not just, like, necessarily people using AI to generate a whole track. It's more so, like, I've been hearing rumblings of people being like, well, like, I actually just used AI for the drums, you know, like
Things
I
like
struggle
that.
with,
Yeah.
like I struggle with the beats. So I just used AI for the drums and then I built everything else upon that. Or, oh, I don't have money for a producer, so I used AI to mix my music.
And honestly, I'm a bit torn on that use of it because I do think that there's long been tools for like automating like music creation and stuff like that. It's on one sense I see it as a tool in the toolbox that they can use, but on the other hand it's also it's definitely concerning being able to use it to just churn out garbage.
Yeah.
And just clog up everybody's feeds with nothing but trash.
Yeah, I mean,
So
of course people really struggled like with VSTs when those came out, the idea that you can have these like preset libraries of string sounds and horn sounds and whatnot.
exactly, yeah.
Like I can only imagine how big of a discussion and how kind of devastating that was to session musicians. But like with AI, it's also just so tricky because it's like there's now tools that like have existed, but they're just being rebranded as AI in order to be given that new sheen to make it new and marketable.
Oh, there's a ton of that out there. Absolutely, yes. And that's like, well, they've already existed. Like, I mean, what we think of as AI isn't even like actual intelligence in a sense. And so, like, it's just branded that way. But
Again, I say this hoping that, you know, people are understanding the nuance in what I'm saying is that, like, even if the bubble pops, like, the thing is this technology is here and it is going to stay in some capacity.
Yeah, that's really the thing, is that it's not going away.
Yeah.
It's never going to go away entirely. Like, even if the bubble bursts, we're still going to have some form of generative AI in existence. Like the way it is now, at least in some form. So yeah, it's at that point where I'm kind of torn. That's why I'm like, well, is it necessarily a completely awful thing if someone used AI to generate part of a song or part of a piece of art? And I'm like,
But I will say, when you choose to do that, you are ridding yourself of the opportunity to collaborate with other people.
That's true.
Learn.
That's true.
The creation of art is becoming like more individual and almost isolating, I would say. But I actually think that collaboration and talking to people is so necessary, even if it's like, okay, at the end of the day, like, this is going to have your name on it as kind of the main spearheader of the project. You are ridding yourself of the ability to collaborate with someone who does know their stuff, who can teach you, and then that enriches your experience.
Right, and that also teaches you things that you can use going forward in other projects. Yeah, and that's definitely a big aspect of things too, is like, but I also understand, like, you know, you don't want to necessarily work with someone else. You don't want to bother someone else. You don't know anybody else or anything, for example.
I was just going to say, I also think that's just a bigger thing of like people in general just becoming like more and more distant and separated from each other. Not necessarily specific to, you know, music, but just kind of culturally as a whole.
Right.
We are becoming a more individualized society. And that could be a whole other thesis about, you know, just the way that we go to the grocery store, if we still go to the grocery store, or, you know, walk from our day to day. Like, we are becoming more isolated, and this leads into the main and final thesis, which is to touch grass. Please touch grass. It's actually really good for you. It's really good for you. I stepped outside today.
They spray things on grass sometimes that you may not want to get on your hand. Anyway, never mind.
Or you can smoke that grass.
I'm undercutting your whole thing. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, or you can smoke that grass.
For some people, it might help. Might help.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you have anything to add, Bee. Share your wisdom with us.
No, I love talking to you, listen to you guys. Yeah, you guys have great things to say. I'm just soaking it all in. It's so fascinating how so many of our conversations with artists and people who create things turn to AI because it is such a struggle and such a hot topic, and it's so impossible to not have so many feelings on it. So I'm glad it's a space where we can help unpack even a fraction of those feelings, even if nothing changes. It's like, yeah, we just have to talk about it because
it's become
too much a part of our lives.
ubiquitous at this point, which happened really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like in 2023 was like a really big inflection point for this, and now all of a sudden it's everywhere, and it's like,
I know.
oh,
and I guess we have
shit.
to adjust to the new world order. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, oh
everything's
boy.
so
It's like
brutal.
we were just laughing at all these ugly ass NFTs everywhere. Now all of a sudden this is happening.
Crazy.
It's like, wow, NFTs were terrible, and it's like, boy, I would love to go back to the world where we just sat there and shat on and laughed at NFTs compared to this. compared to where we're at with AI and the way that things have gone with that has been like, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we've lived a whole decade in 3 years.
We have gone.
Oh yeah.
And we have. That's the thing, is we keep going from these like clearly terrible, crappy things that are unilaterally bad for the creative community.
Yeah.
And for creators. And we just keep bouncing between those. Like we've gone from cryptocurrency was sort of the beginning of that, and then I built on that with NFTs, and now it's shifted to AI. We keep going from like these what are viewed as ways that is going to ultimately, like, you know, democratize the normal, democratize creativity and democratize like everything, democratize the ways to make money, not realizing that the rich are just getting richer.
Yep.
and nothing is changing. But we keep pivoting to these things, thinking like, oh, we're gonna be rich, and it's like,
that's right.
No, you're not. Someone else is getting rich off of you.
That's right. People are not introducing these tools or adopting these tools or trying to refine these tools to help make art, you know, like accessible to people. They are explicitly making these tools to make money off of you.
Exactly.
And so the best way to engage in art and democratize it is by making it from a place of your own humanity and interest, and not engaging with those tools.
And that is also why we enjoy having, you know, people who are part of the creative process on our show, and that we get to talk to amazing people and to learn from them, especially you, Kyle, our fandom elder, our network president.
Yeah.
And you guys are creatives yourselves. You've been in the trenches for a long time.
Oh yeah.
You guys know what's up.
But we feel enriched being able to talk about that with wonderful guests such as yourself, you know, such as the other amazing people that we have had on the show, because like it is just so important.
Yeah. I love what you said.
I agree.
I feel like, you know, at the end of the podcast, we always just like ask, like, why do you do it? Why do you make things for the Blue Rat or otherwise?
Yes.
And I feel like you already said it, but feel free to expand on it. And I do think it's such like a beautiful, simple truth that we can always come back to. Like, it's so plain, it's so easy, it's fundamental. I like it. And like, that is so powerful. And it's just true. Like, because I like it and therefore I must. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah. I like doing it.
Yep.
That's really what it is. And the community is very supportive and helpful, and they also, like, that's a big driver as well. Like, the folks who have come out and supported the show and supported me just in general. Like, last year was a tough year for me on a personal level, but the way people came out and supported me was, I still don't even know how to exactly put it into words. It was just incredible. And that really was sort of like, okay, there's there's still good out there,
Mhm.
despite it feeling like everything is crumbling down around us. We are still connected.
Yeah,
Because
that's right.
community is important.
Absolutely, 100%.
And we hope that our little Bee and the Berry community listens in and becomes a part of the broader KNGI community. I know that there is a lot of overlap, but even so.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know you got a lot of Bumblekast folks who are tuning in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also, on a quick side note too, because the day that we are recording this is actually the day of the Sonic Expo Spring Showcase.
Oh yeah.
Oh hi, yeah.
And so just a quick note to say, whenever this episode comes out, that we are so incredibly
cool.
honored and grateful.
Yeah.
And we are just happy to be in the room, and I love things like these because I think like this is how you build community. This is how you showcase real human works.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about like whether or not we win or whatnot. It is just like, wow, like we get to be in the room with people who have made amazing contributions to this fandom, and like that's the thing that I think keeps all of us going.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
100%.
Congrats, guys! You definitely
you.
deserve it.
Thank you.
It's that,
Well, we
that
couldn't
good
do it.
content that really got us there, that quality content about I
About
won't bring it
Strawbz
back
stealing?
up. Yeah.
The Strawbz,
I won't
the
bring
thief.
it back up, but
Strawbz the
Yeah.
thief.
a
We know
significant
she knows what
portion
she
of this
did.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
She knows what she did.
Yeah,
We
coming
all
for your
know what she
panties.
did.
Quality content everybody comes
We
here
all
for.
know what she did. Yes.
Yeah.
And really, honestly, also that's also why I do NGI, is to, as you've said, showcase human content.
Mhm.
That's really what it is boiled down to. Is like I love video game music. I enjoy music in general. I love video game music. I love the people who make it and who make arrangements and remixes and tributes to it and all that stuff. And I like to showcase that, and I enjoy sharing it with other people. And that's really ultimately what NGI really is me just telling you, hey, go check out this person's amazing art. It's amazing. Let's listen to it right now. See, wasn't that amazing? Wow. Go support them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kyle. Please tell our listeners where they can find you.
Yeah, plug your stuff.
Yeah, plug your shit.
I'm at my house. Please don't come find me there. Please don't come find me there.
Yeah, guys, Kyle
But I
lives
am
in
at
Arizona.
my house.
Go find Kyle in Arizona.
No.
Wow.
Well, okay. Maybe I'll allow some of you to, if you want to come hang out. That's cool, but I can't accommodate all of you. I'm sorry.
Shoot a message first.
Yes, let me know. For real though. Of course you can find the KNGI network. That's kngi.org. That's where you can find many great shows like The Bee and the Berry.
Woo.
And also you can find the Bumblekast is also there.
Ooh.
And my other show dedicated to video game music, Nitro Game Injection, NGI, which is, I guess, the namesake of the KNGI network.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have some other great shows as well, talking about video games, video game music, and other forms of entertainment. So be sure to go check out all of those shows. I highly recommend them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have them on the network. But yes,
Incredible.
Go check them out. I'm really very happy to host the creations of the amazing folks who put together content and help out release stuff through the KNGI network. So it's very exciting. And of course, you can find me on Blue Sky I believe it's KyleJCRB at KNGI.org on Blue Sky. I'm not 100%
Something
sure,
like
but
that.
If you just look up KyleJCRB, you'll find me.
Yeah.
And that's like where I've been mainly, is hanging out on Blue Sky. Oh, it's at KyleJCRB.KNGI.org on Blue Sky. And also on various other platforms. Just look up KyleJCRB. You'll find me there usually. But Blue Sky has been my main hub just because it's not the other site.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Wow. Thank you, Kyle. We've been wanting to do this for like a year,
It's
so I'm
true.
glad it
This is
actually
true.
happened.
I've been here this whole time. You could ask.
I know, that's true. So
Well-
right there at our fingertips, we're like, we'll get to it.
But
Yeah,
it's
we'll get
fine.
to
It's
it.
fine. You guys had a lot of other stuff going on. You've had some really freaking awesome guests. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
you,
true.
You guys,
And you've
do-
joined the
do that.
pantheon.
Okay, well, I guess if you want to put me on that level, that's fine.
Yeah.
You
the
definitely
Pantheon.
are. Oh God. Yeah, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for being here. Go send questions into the Bumblekast. Go listen to the
Yes.
Bumblekast. Go support them. Go support all the shows. Follow everybody on the social medias. You're supposed to. Go check out the Sonic Expo Spring Showcase if you haven't already and it's still relevant. And
As we always say, it may not be canon.
but it is correct.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
I've been waiting years to say that, even though you haven't even been on for a year.